Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. I wasn't.
I'm sorry, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wolf. You also, Ms. Melnick.
Good
Mr. Coleman.
afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Coleman. Good to see you all.
You too.
Let's see, we'll get started as soon as courtroom 2 is ready.
All right.
The SAP reset date is January 4th.
We're ready, Judge. Good afternoon. This is
Okay.
number 4, Mr. Frazier.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Frazier. I'm Judge
Good
Eric.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're doing by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier, you have been charged in case 23 CR 008198J with simple battery. Let's see, who do we have on from pretrial this afternoon? Oh, Mr. Howard, good afternoon.
Hey, who we on?
Position number 4, Larry Frazier.
39 total. 2017 parole violation, 2015, 2014 parole, 2014 forgery. I'm sorry, 2014 probation, 2011 forgery conviction. This was level 3.
Okay. Ms. Wolf?
Judge, in this particular case, Mr. Frazier, this incident happened on the 22nd of this month at the location of 1950 Sylvan Circle Southwest at an elderly apartment complex. On that particular date, when officers arrived, the victim was standing outside in front of an entrance, and she indicated that the defendant proceeded to ask her to grant him access into the apartment complex. And when she denied this, he got upset. The reason she denied him access is because they were having problems with individuals that didn't stay there, being present on a property when they're not supposed to be. And after she denied access, he pushed her in the face. Miss Womack responded, and then Mr. Frazier pushed her to the ground. This was witnessed by at least 3 parties. And when they spoke with Mr. Frazier, he indicated that excuse me, I'm sorry, Judge. He indicated that he did not touch Ms. Womack, but the officer noted that the defendant's breath was a heavy smell of alcohol, and he stated that he had been drinking earlier. With all the background listed by pretrial, I did also review it. It doesn't appear that he has any opening cases. It does appear that he has a current bond for $5,000 surety bond. We're asking that the bond remain that he also stay away from Miss Womack in that location, that he has no drug, alcohol, or weapons. We would like to now sound for Miss Womack just in case she's present and would like to be heard. Miss Kim Womack.
If Ms. Womack is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Wolf. Let's see, Mr. Coleman. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Frazier. He is 63 years of age. The incident address, 1950 Sylvan Road Southwest. Mr. Frazier states to me that is actually his address. That is the apartment complex where he does reside. So I would have an objection to any stay away order. Mr. Frazier is a high school graduate. He is currently unemployed, living off of SSI. He has no money to post for bond. I'm aware of his issue, but again, I'd be requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
Ms. Wolf, do you know if Ms. Womack lives at that Sylvan Circle?
I was unable to obtain that information. Let me check on the.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep her away from him away
It's-
from her apartment. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Ms. Wolf.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Judge.
No, I'm just gonna keep her away from, I'm not gonna keep him away from his home, but I will keep, if she lives there, then he is to have no contact with her, stay away from her and stay away from her apartment. But it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 3, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Womack, stay away from Ms. Womack's apartment if she lives at the Sylvan Circle address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Frazier. You're welcome.
Position number 9, Story.
Good afternoon, Mr. Story. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Story, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008196A with simple battery against a police officer or detention officer and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
24, 2023 DUI, 2019 fraudulent use of credit cards conviction, 2016, 17, 13 probation violations. That's all. And the level was 2.
Afternoon, Miss Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Let me just pull up the right page of notes that I have. This incident occurred on the 22nd in Johns Creek. Police were called to the residence where Mr. Story and his wife Wendy live on a domestic call, or Alexi, I believe is the name in the police information. Alexi McFarlane, who said she was the wife of the defendant. She said that he was drunk and unruly, and she needed help from police to calm him down. When officers tried to speak to Mr. Story, he refused to sit down, was belligerent, told police to leave. They tried to explain to him that 911 was called, and their help was requested at the location. He began poking one of the officers, Sergeant Lemke, in the chest and in his face. He was given multiple directives to stop that, and refused. He then grabbed the same sergeant by his shoulder and then smacked the officer's arm away. He was taken to the ground and placed under arrest, but refused commands, refused to give his arms to be handcuffed, with kicking at police, and had to be subdued. The information I have on Mr. Story's criminal history includes that he was just arrested and released on bond in Johns Creek for a DUI in April of this year, which would be his 4th DUI. It looks also like he has a $5,000 bond on each of the charges in this case, the simple battery and the obstruction. We would just require that there be no drugs, alcohol, weapons, and that Mr. Story complete a drug and alcohol evaluation and follow any recommendations for treatment.
Thank you. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. As you can tell by the facts laid out by the state, Mr. Story was in his home. His wife only called the police because she said he was unruly, not that he was hitting her. There's nothing domestic, as far as a battery as that. As he was in his home, the officers then asked him to cooperate and sit down, but he's in his home, and he asked them to leave, and they wouldn't leave. I think there's going to be some questions at trial for that, as to their rights, because he wasn't on a public street. He was in his own home. And so for that reason, we're asking for a signature bond on this case. And $5,000.
All right, let's see, Mr. Howard, what was the recommendation from pretrial as far as the level?
2.
Okay, thank you. For each of the counts, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, which makes it a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Officer Lemke. no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Given his history, I believe that he would benefit and the allegations in this matter from a drug evaluation. So I'll also order drug and alcohol evaluation. Good luck to you, Mr. Story.
And on position number 1, Ms. Reeves.
Okay, good. Add on 1. Good afternoon, Ms. Reeves. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Reeves. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008210G with battery and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total, 2010 probation, FTA. This was level 2.
And I'm not sure whose case this is, Miss Allen.
That's me, Your Honor.
Okay.
This incident occurred at 78 Sheridan Drive, building number 17 Northwest in Atlanta. That is not Mrs. Reeves' residential address. Police were called on the 22nd of December at 9 a.m. on a disturbance between 2 parties. On scene, the victim, Mr. Cruz, first name Hector, reported that the defendant had entered the complex and come to his door. She used a hammer to smash open the window of one of the windows of his residence. And as she did that, he opened the front door and saw her in possession of the hammer. And she actually used the hammer to touch him on the face and push him forward. She made her way into his residence and began arguing with him. He reported that she was repeatedly striking him in the face. Officers observed that he had a swelling portion on his right eye as a result of this. And the victim reported that they had been previously in a relationship and did not share a residence, but that she had been extremely intoxicated the night before. He was unsure why she was so upset. He pointed her out. She was sitting in her car at the location. Police approached and spoke to her. She made admissions about the incident and claimed that she had anger issues and she blacked out. And she was placed under arrest. So the charges in this case are a battery as well as criminal trespass for breaking the window. She has 1, 2, 3 potential prior DUIs, Your Honor. And it looks like drugs and alcohol are probably a factor in this situation as well. So we would request no contact, and we'd like to sound from Mr. Cruz if he is present on the Zoom and wishes to speak. Our office wasn't able to get in touch with him and left him a message this morning. But no contact with Mr. Cruz, not to return to the location at 78 Sheridan Drive, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to complete an evaluation and follow any recommendations.
And what's the bond request?
So it looks like she doesn't have a current bond right now. We would be asking for $3,000 each through the jail with some monitoring.
Okay, Ms. Melnick.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, she did graduate from Kennesaw University. She has a degree in accounting, and she's actually a banking auditor. This is very out of character for her. She has her own residence in Smyrna. It will not be an issue not to have any contact with the complaining witness. We would ask to go with the state's recommendation. I believe, as I heard it, was a $3,000 signature bond on each count.
Okay, I'm going to send her through pretrial for the battery. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Hector Cruz, stay away from the Sheridan Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. If Mr. Cruz is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear that he's on the line, but Ms. Reeves, let me make it clear to you what no contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact, no personal contact, no phone contact, no internet contact, no email contact, no contact whatsoever. If the court finds out that you've been in contact with Mr. Cruz whatsoever, this bond could be revoked, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Position 12, Vasquez. Morning.
Good afternoon, Ms. Vasquez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state
No.
court. Good afternoon, ma'am. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008200Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No. Level 1.
Yes. Ms. Wolf or Ms. Allen?
Deborah, check your email.
Yes, thank you. I saw that.
Okay.
Okay.
This is an incident that occurred on the 22nd at 3210 Matheson, Mathieson Drive. The victim in this case is Maria Soriano Martinez. She called the police to the location and reported that the defendant, who is her daughter, struck her during an argument. They had been arguing and she was upset about an incident that had occurred earlier in the day. The defendant, Yesenia Vasquez, struck her mother in the arm with a closed fist and was arrested. I also see she has no history. I'm not clear that she's got a bond already. Our office has tried to get in touch with the victim in this case this morning and left a message. So if Ms. Soriano is on Zoom, we'd like to sound for her.
If Ms. Maria Soriano Martinez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so, Ms. Allen.
We just require no further violent contact and get some clarification and confirmation that the defendant lives at the same location with her mother. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, I already spoke to my client about that, and she's able to go to her aunt's house. So if that would satisfy the state, so because she has no priors whatsoever, we are asking for a signature bond in the amount of $2,000.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Maria Soriano Martinez.
No contact or no violent contact, I'm sorry.
The state requested no further violent contact, so.
Yes.
Let's do that, and if we could have order to stay away from the location since she's got an alternative place to stay, I think that would satisfy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear.
Stay away from for now, from the Matheson Drive address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement if need be to obtain any of her personal items. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Vasquez.
Position number 3, Dukes. Oh.
Good afternoon, Ms. Dukes. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Dukes, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008203J with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No. Jail was the recommendation.
Okay. Ever presenting for the state? Ms. Wolf? I'm not sure who's presenting and you're
I
on.
believe it's Miss Wolf.
I apologize. I forgot to unmute my mic.
Okay,
I apologize.
you're fine. Go ahead, Ms. Wolf.
Okay, Judge, 1 second for my, yes, Judge, this case is against Antoinette Dukes. The victim in this case is Angel Ross, and it occurred on 12/22 of this year at the location of 3615 Reese Road in Fulton County. This defendant is charged with simple battery. On that date and at that location, excuse me, there was a incident that had occurred earlier, and the officer returned to the call at that location and spoke with the victim in that case. And she advised that she had allowed the neighbors into her home. There was an incident with a missing dog, and the Miss Dukes believed that Miss Ross had her dog. So she eventually let Miss Dukes into the house to see that I don't have your dog. And so once Miss Dukes went into the residence, she actually picked up the dog and attempted to flee out of the back door. At that time, the victim, Miss Ross, put her arm up over the door frame and to block Miss Dukes from leaving, and told her to put the dog down. And instead of her doing so, Miss Dukes bit the victim on the wrist and left a red mark. Of course, when that occurred, the victim moved her arm and the defendant ran out of the house. When the officers asked Miss Dukes about the incident, she did state that she did bite the victim's wrist because the dog was actually hers. She was thereby charged and arrested, and of course, eventually charged with simple battery. When I was reviewing the case, it appeared that this was only the defendant's only arrest. So at this time, our recommendation would just be sign on bond through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, and to stay away from the victim's address. Victim being Miss Angela Ross. And I would like to sound for Miss Ross to see if she's on Zoom.
If Ms. Ross is with us this afternoon and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so, Ms. Wolf. Mr. Coleman, if it's all right with you, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Ross. Stay away from Ms. Ross's address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
Yes, that's fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Dukes.
Next, we have position. Position one. Position one, Mr. Zachary Alexis.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Alexis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You're on mute, courtroom team.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Alexis. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008201F with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? Mr. Howard, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was talking. Fifth arrest, 2022 battery. 2022 battery DV, trespass, 2019 possession of marijuana. That's it.
Ms. Wolf?
It's going to be me, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, Ms. Allen.
So this is an incident that occurred on the 12th of December. Mr. Alexis was eventually arrested in Alpharetta on the 22nd. He just I believe, in front of Your Honor on an SAP docket in August. Pled guilty to 2 cases against his mother, 22 CR 001327C and 22 CR 005580C. We could sound for Mrs. Bernadine Alexis to see if she is here joining us. She reported to police on the 12th of December that her son was having an episode and had pushed her while he was angry. He was loud and aggressive with police on the scene, told the police that his mother was giving him his wrong medication and then became uncooperative. Mom reported that she had been observing his behavior that evening, and it was getting progressively frightening to her. She went to bed, and eventually she was woken up by the defendant, who was demanding her cell phone. She didn't want to give him her cell phone because I believe he broke it the last time he had access to it. He became angry and shoved her. Mom, Mrs. Bernadine Alexis, reported that she felt unsafe, and she was concerned about her well-being because of the continued outbursts by her son and his mental health diagnosis, and reported that there had been multiple prior incidences. So this young man, just on August the 29th of this year, pled guilty to 2 counts, 2 different cases, both involving his mother, both involving shoving her or scratching her or grabbing her during an argument. Looks like he's got a $5,000 bond. This is 1 count of simple battery family violence. We would request that there be monitoring through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no contact with mom, Miss Bernadine Alexis, and to stay medication compliant.
Miss Allen, do you know the terms of when I sentenced him to probation? What did I sentence him to have any mental health evaluation or treatment at that time? Do you know?
Can I address that, Your Honor? Because you sentenced him to 365 days because he was on a certain track. And we were waiting for a report. We were waiting for a report to come back.
Oh, okay.
So the state forgot, that's what I was going to add. State forgot to say that it was time served because he'd been in for the maximum amount.
Okay. And is this Miss Bernadine Alexis is with me on the iPhone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Miss Alexis, would you like to address the court in this regard this afternoon? You don't have to, ma'am. I want to give you the opportunity to do so if you would like to. If you would like to, I'll need to swear you in though. But I'm happy to hear from you if you would like, if there's anything that you'd like to say to the court.
Yes, please.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
I just want to stress that he is mentally ill, and he's not focusing. He sometimes takes his medicine, sometimes he does not. He needs to do more group therapy, and that's a little hard for him. I know some of it is not his, it's his mental condition that he behaves like that. So I just want you to take all this into consideration when you making your decision.
Does he live with you?
He does.
Alexis? Okay.
He
And
does.
do you want him to remain with you?
So I'm trying to find someplace for him to live because we don't have family members here. So yes. And I don't know what we're going to do in that process.
Okay.
Your
Well,
Honor,
I mean,
may I
it sounds.
May I please request a breakout room real quick with the mother and the state and yourself?
Yes, that's fine. Normally we try to do the breakout rooms at the end of the calendar, but no, but I'm happy to go ahead and because they do have people still in the courtroom. So if you can hang on for us, Miss Bernadine Alexis,
Sure.
when I finish with the calendar, at the end of the calendar, we'll go into a breakout room so that we can discuss this in more in depth. We're live on YouTube right now. We don't want to put all of your son's information over the airways, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so if you'll just hang on for me. So let's come back, courtroom 2, to Mr. Alexis at the end of the calendar. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms. Melman.
Next, we have position 2, Mr. Davis.
Oh, I will be handling that case.
Okay.
This case is Mr. Octavius Davis.
Okay, hold on, Ms. Wolf. I have a procedure, so let me get through my procedure and then I'll get to you, okay?
I apologize, Judge.
Oh, no, you're fine. Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008195B with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got no jail recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Now, Ms. Wolf.
I apologize, Judge.
No, you're fine, Ms. Wolf. I know that this is, go ahead.
This incident occurred on December 22nd of this year at the location of Cecilia Drive Southeast near Brannon Road, Southeast Atlanta in Fulton County. As stated, he is charged with obstruction of a law enforcement officer and marijuana less than an ounce on that particular day. The officer located a Chevrolet Avalanche that was speeding. It was going 89 miles an hour and the posted speed limit was 60. The Officer Healy or Hiley, attempted to do a traffic stop and the automobile fled and failed to stop. After the pursuit ended, the passenger, which is this defendant, exited the vehicle and fled on foot. Officer Healy was telling him to stop. He refused to stop, continued running, and was hiding his hands. The officer had to deploy his taser 3 times to gain compliance. The defendant was placed under arrest, and once he was placed in the back of the car, they found out that he had a purple bag of marijuana inside his left jacket pocket. I also do not see any other arrests, no open charges on this defendant. The state's recommendation on this would be a SOB through pretrial, and conditions, of course, would be no drugs, alcohol, and no weapons, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Coleman, if agreeable with you, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge, which makes it a $2,000 signature bond through the jail and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Does that suit you?
That's very fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Davis.
Next, we have position 5, Mr. Harper.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harper. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Huh?
We're doing this by video, Mr. Harper. Is that okay with you?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harper, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008199C with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8 total. Last was a probation violation from this year. Got an open ag assault, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, excuse me, or a felony first offender. It's 23 SC 186001. On probation and called terrorist threats. Got a 2023 FTA, 2019 ag assault dismissed, 2019 obstruction conviction, 2019 fleeing an officer, that's a felony conviction. That's all.
Yes, Ms. Wolf.
Judge, this incident occurred on December 22nd of this year at the location of 3749 Hamilton Road Southwest. On that date, Officer Stewart was flagged down by the victim in this case, whose name is Jocelyn Gomora, Gomora. So I hope I'm saying her last name correct. He was stopped by her, and she stated that she was in her car with the defendant and that he is the father of her 2-year-old son. And he was in the passenger seat. And before she arrived, they had a verbal dispute. Once she arrived to 2223 Niskey Lane Road in Fulton County, once she picked up the defendant, they got back in another verbal dispute. She asked him to get out of the vehicle, but he would not do so. She advised that they ended up in another argument in the car since he would not get out, and that he wrapped his arm around her neck. Then after that occurred, he grabbed her phone and threw it to the floor of the vehicle. He got upset and also punched the front windshield, which caused it to crack. The damage to the car was noted on the body worn camera. When the officer spoke with Mr. Harper, he did advise that he did hit the window, but that it was an accident. He also advised that he attempted to grab the phone, but that he did not throw the phone to the floor. I do not see anything in addition from what pretrial indicated in reference to arrests or open cases. I believe the current bond is $0. The state would be asking for a $5,000 surety bond. No, no further contact with the victim. Stay away from the victim's address, and third-party contact to exchange the child. We're also asking the court to consider 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper is, I believe, 22 years of age. He went as far as the 10th grade. He is employed at Yoshi Hibachi Grill. He's worked there for the last 4 months as a cook. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. As stated by the prosecutor, he is the father of a 1-year-old child. I would like to preserve his job if possible. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
Okay. And the last name was Gomora, is that right? If Ms. Gomora is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. For the simple battle, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Gomora, stay away from Ms. Gamora's address, third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Honor.
I'm giving you the opportunity, Mr. Harper, to get out because I don't want you to lose your job. I prefer you be working and assisting with the support of your child. But you, at this point in time, you cannot have any contact with Ms. Gomora whatsoever. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Harper.
Thank you.
Next, we have position 6, Mr. Joshua Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008197H with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
14 total. Last arrest was 6 days ago in Cobb County, giving false name. What else we got? So that is open. It's also distribute drugs, sell, manufacture, distribute. Got an open simple battery out of Cobb from March of this year. Probation in Whitfield County. What's the charges? They ain't even put the charges on it. Whatever. 2022 communicating threats dismissed. 2021 battery conviction. Got 3 probation violations from 2014, 1 from 2013. 2012 simple battery disorderly conduct conviction. That's all.
What's your recommendation?
3.
Ms. Wolf?
Yes, Judge. This incident occurred at the location of 2471 Old National Parkway, room 118, located in College Park, Fulton County, Georgia. The victim in this case, Ms. Felicia Smith, stated to police when they arrived that her live-in boyfriend, Joshua Robinson, struck her in the face with a closed fist on the right side. She did sustain a small bruise and a knot near her eye. Ms. Smith also stated that it started with an argument over Ms. Smith taking too long to pick him up from work. Excuse me. The two have been staying together for the past couple of years, and that Mr. Johnson, the officer notes that Mr. Johnson was not at the location once they arrived. This particular case, in consideration of what his current record status is and the allegations, the state would be asking for a $3,000 surety bond, to have no contact with the victim. If that is a joint resident, we would ask that it be no further violent contact if there's nowhere else that he can go. Additionally, we will ask for a 1-day anger awareness and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Felicia Smith is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Coleman?
Yeah, I'd be requesting a censure bond for Mr. Johnson. He is 37 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Speaking to Mr. Johnson, he does have his bachelor's degree from the University of Georgia. He's been employed at Yancey Warehouse for the last year and a half. He is the father of an 11-year-old child. As previously said, he has been in custody in Cobb County since last Sunday, so he's been in custody for 6 days now. He only has 1 conviction for violence that I heard in his background. I would like to preserve his job if possible. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond on his behalf. I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Johnson.
Okay, it will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Felicia Smith, stay away from the Old National Parkway address. He can go back to that address if necessary on 1 occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Johnson. You're welcome.
Next, we have position 7, Mr. Jamarcus Philpott.
Good afternoon, Mr. Philpott. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Philpott, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008205E with loitering and prowling and simple battery against a police officer or detention officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. Last arrest was on the 17th of this month. Simple battery and loitering. He got an open CP case. It's 23 CP 224345. I think bond was denied the other day on that. Failure to appears from 2015, 16, and 17. That's it.
Ms. Wolf?
Judge, this incident occurred on December 17th of this year at the location of 886 McDaniel Street. He was eventually charged with loitering, prowling, and simple battery on an officer. On that particular date, Officer Ballard had responded to that location in reference to a burglary of that residence. Once the officer arrived, while they were speaking with the victim of the burglary, this defendant wearing a ski mask on top of his head was seen leaving from between that home and a neighbor's house. Excuse me, that home and an abandoned house. When the defendant was asked where he was coming from, he stated he was just walking through. He was also asked where he lived, and he could not provide an address. He just kind of stated, "I live up the way." He was later identified as Jamarcus Philpott and was detained for further investigation. While he was in the rear of the parole vehicle, he spit on Officer Carter, who is the victim of the simple battery on the officer, and the spit landed on the officer's pants. I do not have any other notes other than what pretrial already announced in reference to the history of the defendant. The state's recommendation would be a $2,000 surety bond and to stay away from that location. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Philpott. He is 34 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. He's currently residing with his mother, collecting SSI. I'm aware of his history, but again, I would be requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
And do we know the charge this morning, Mr. Howard or Mr. Coleman? Well, the charge that he has he has no bond on?
I saw a list of felonies. I'm not exactly sure which
Yeah, it's a
one
lot
is
of
no
them.
bond.
You want me to?
No, that's fine. It appears that regardless of what I do, he's not going to be being released from custody. As such, for these charges, for the loitering and prowling, a $500 signature bond through the jail. For the simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through the jail, makes it a total of $1,500 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the McDaniel Street address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Seems like he has bigger fish to fry.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Philpott.
Next, we have position 11, Mr. Jason Tate.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tate. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Tate, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008202F with criminal trespass and damage to property, battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, I didn't see any violence. All he got is driving. Level 1.
Okay. Yes, Miss Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on the 22nd of December at 317 Skipper Place. I would note that I do not believe that is the residence that this defendant provided in jail booking. So police were called at about 2:30 p.m. by the victim. Let me make sure of her last name. He's got a daughter who's a 1-year-old. Her name is, I think, Islah, I-S-L-A-H, Tate. Alexis is mom. She reported that she was being assaulted by the defendant. He became upset when she posted an Instagram post that he didn't like and took her phone and went through it. He grabbed her by the neck. She specifically stated she had not been strangled because she's been strangled before, and that's not what happened today. Alexis reported that she asked the defendant if he was going to continue to assault her in front of their child, and he stopped briefly. Their argument continued, but he began striking her again with his hands multiple times, causing her middle finger to be damaged and start bleeding. He also took her phone from her. She had put it in her waistband of her pants to try to prevent him from getting it again, but he took it and he threw it outside, breaking it. That's the reason for the criminal damage or the criminal trespass damage. Because this all occurred in front of their daughter, Isla, ISLAH. The phone she reported was valued max at $200. The defendant left the location and actually took the child with him. Victim went to the hospital because EMS recommended that she seek treatment, and she, I believe, had her fingers wrapped together. She reported that she called the defendant's family, and he eventually returned home, where she identified him and he was arrested by police. My understanding is that there is no bond at this point. We've got 3 charges: the battery, family violence, criminal damage, criminal trespass damage, and cruelty in the 3rd degree. We would request that he have a signature bond through pretrial, with the requirement that he have no contact and to stay away from the location at 317 Skipper Place. I don't see any information that says the defendant and the victim are married. So third-party contact at the designation of the victim in this case, if this child's not legitimated. Anger management.
What is the alleged victim's last name, Ms.
Let me
Allen?
make sure I have it right. One moment.
Okay. Any objection to a signature bond through pretrial, Ms. Melnick?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else that have you had the opportunity to speak with the alleged victim?
Our office attempted to reach out. Her last name is Marsh, Alexis Marsh, Marsh. We haven't had no contact at this point. If we could sound for her.
Ms. Marsh is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Anything further, Ms. Melnick?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the battery, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. All of them will be level 1. As such, it's a $5,000 total signature bond through pretrial, level 1. 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Marsh. Stay away from the Skipper Place address. If need be, he can have a one-time escort with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. There will be third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Tate.
Next, we have add-on 2, Mr. Patrick Weems.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008211Y with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. I think he had a marijuana yesterday that was NOD. Last arrest was 2021, suspended license. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. That's open 21 SC 178416 on parole, aggravated assault. 2018 probation, 2016 drug trafficking. That's all. I don't know if he got a
Recommendation.
parole hold. Let me see if he got a parole hold real quick. Hold on one moment. The recommendation was 3, but let me see. Yeah, he got a parole hold. Yeah, state pardon for parole. That's all.
Okay. Mrs. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred in September on the 5th, 2023. After reporting this incident, a warrant was issued for the arrest of Mr. Weems, and when he was arrested on the 21st of December for felony drug charges, he was served this warrant. So he does have an active, I believe, as yet unindicted case based on those felony drug charges in Superior Court. Today in front of Your Honor is a battery family violence charge and a criminal trespass based on damage from September the 5th, 2023. Police were called to the location at 2057 MLK Drive Northwest, Unit A. There, the victim, Annette Cooper, reported that her boyfriend, who is the defendant, argued and it turned physical. She asked him to leave and reported that she put his belongings on the back porch. He continued to claim that he had more things inside the residence, which she denied. The defendant kicked in her door, causing it to come off the hinges, and punched her in the face. He poured lighter fluid on her and then went outside and began kicking her vehicle, causing damage to the driver's side. Police reports indicate there are photographs of the damage for the multiple pieces of our items that were damaged. There also are reports that she had visible swelling on her face as a result of being struck in the face by the defendant with his fist. She reported that they were living together at the time. Police who came and responded and spoke to her attempted to reach out to the defendant, but were unable to, and eventually he was arrested. Our office has made contact with Ms. Cooper this morning. Would you sound for her, please? I believe she's on the Zoom.
What's the first name? Miss?
And Annette.
Thank you. If Miss Annette Cooper is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Cooper, if you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
The day of the incident that occurs on the date that you all have, that the police wrote up, I got into it with a young lady who was with Patrick Weems, not Patrick Weems. And the officer also stopped Patrick Weems after I talked to him and didn't lock him up. So I didn't never say that I was pushing charges. I don't know what the how the police report went down, but someone had read it out to me on the phone earlier this morning, and I would listen to what was on the police report. Now time Patrick ever put his hands on me, and we've been together a year.
Okay, so so this allegedly occurred on September 5th. Have you been together since September 5th?
Yes, sir, every day.
Okay, and on September 5th, the day of this incident, how did the police get called to do you live at the Sutton MLK Drive address?
So, and no, I stay on Martin Luther King though.
Okay, I'm sorry, the 205 MLK Drive, is that your address?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so
go ahead.
on that date, why did you call the police to that address?
Yes, sir, I did.
And why did you call the police?
Because I got into a altercation with the female that Petra was with. And I got mad due to, I was calling on them, but I got mad due to Petra did not give me the female's name because I didn't know their name.
Okay, so there were some allegations that he kicked in the front or kicked in a door at that residence. Did that happen?
No, sir. The females that I got into the altercation with.
Okay, there are also some allegations that lighter fluid was thrown on you. Did that happen?
That the young lady picked up off my porch and threw it towards me.
Okay, and there are also allegations that Mr. Weems struck you. Did that happen?
No, sir. I got into the altercation with the young lady.
Okay. Any questions, Miss Allen?
Not for the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Well, I appreciate you being here, Ms. Cooper. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is born and raised in Atlanta. He stays with his sister because I did speak to him about not going back to that location and about possible no contact provisions. He does have bigger things to worry about. So we are asking for a signature bond, especially since the victim is not scared of him and on these cases, so he can handle everything.
Okay. For the battery of
Your Honor, I would
I'm
just
sorry.
like
Go
to
ahead, Ms.
make an
Allen.
argument. It's the state's position that Ms. Cooper, after making a report about an incident that happened in September and making specific allegations and police witnessing damage and injury to her, is in a cycle of violence. And because this defendant wasn't picked up until months later, he has returned back and life has continued. So we would expect nothing less than someone to come and recant here in front of Your Honor, especially when there are other things at stake. For Mr. Weems, the defendant has no bond on this case, and so we'd be asking for $3,000 each, surety, monitoring. He's got an extensive criminal history. And it's our position that Miss Cooper's just not in the best position to determine what is in her best interest. So we would request no contact and to stay away from the location at 2057 MLK Drive. And I think that's it.
Your Honor, I also want to point out this incident allegedly occurred on September the 5th of 23, and there have not been any problems since then.
We wouldn't know though, would we?
I would know.
Except he got arrested in December for new drug
Excuse
charges.
me, Your Honor. I think that's extremely unprofessional, uncalled for. Can we at least attempt to keep it professional?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but in addition, Mr. Weems has a open on a judicial hold, 21 SC 178416 case, a history of FTAs, active parole warrant, and multiple violent felony convictions. He's not only a danger to intimidate this young woman, as you can see, he's already affected her statements here in front of Your Honor today, but he's a danger to the community. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I can speak at this time, the state has had ample opportunities since this incident occurred to speak with her. They had her on the phone today, and she was very clear. She said that in fact, she didn't say that she was changing it. She said that it was a girl that he was with. And I think that drama can always assume from that. She said that, again, my highlight, she said that she is not scared of him. And again, this incident happened numerous months ago. So at this time, the defense would ask for the signature bond.
All right. So $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Given the testimony of Ms. Cooper this afternoon, no further violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Weems.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You also, Ms. Cooper. Who do we have next?
I assume that we're supposed to have some add-on. However, it was stated that they did not receive any paperwork for the 2 or 3 add-ons that we have. So how would you like to proceed?
Well, I was only informed that there was the possibility of add-ons through an email, so I don't believe that they've had the opportunity to work those add-ons up. The council has not had an opportunity to speak with those add-ons. As such, they will have to be heard at the next expedited accusation calendar, I believe, unless somebody has an objection.
Well, for the record, I did speak to them just very briefly, but I don't have any paperwork on them. It looks like a warrant was sent or something on 3 of them, but I wasn't able to open up those warrants to look at them.
We can, if you wouldn't mind taking a quick recess, I'm more than happy to review, and I can send Mr. Coleman or Ms. Melnick any of the documents I see based on the jailing information. I believe these are cases with potential Riverside issues if we don't address them. They would be people who came in.
Let me do this. Let me finish up with the calendar that I have in front of me first, and then we will address that. So I still have position number 8. Do we have a Mr. Ramirez Savion?
We just gave
this
it.
afternoon?
Mr.
Savion.
Savion,
Position 8.
Yes, Your Honor. While they're doing that, also Ms. Falk I have not had a chance, but while we've been on camera, she has sent us a bunch of paperwork too. I just haven't opened it.
Right. I've looked at it also, but again, I'm here at your pleasure. So you all just let me know what you want me to do this afternoon.
Judge Morrow,
Yes.
is Mr.
This is the one that did
Alexa, you said you was gonna do a breakout with him and his family.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what we have in the courtroom right now, other than
the 3.
3 add-ons that I don't know what you're gonna do with right now.
Wait a second.
Okay,
no.
well, hold on 1 second. Everyone hold on for me, just 1 second, please. I still have on the regular calendar a position number 8 and a position number 10 that we have not heard. What are we gonna do with those positions?
Position number 10, he can't speak, so I gave Ms. Melody a phone number to call on his behalf.
Yes, and he is 76. His wife is Phyllis is on Zoom. I think she can provide a little bit more insight into this. And so I would ask for a breakout session for this as well.
Okay, so we'll address that while we're in the breakout session. What about position number 8?
Wilmo Ramirez, I have not spoken to him. He's at Union City.
Are we gonna have Union City on the line this afternoon?
This time, Your Honor, that I'm aware of. I was,
We were actually told that he was gonna be on the felony calendar. Cause he had a CP number.
And he should have also been on the felony calendar. Yes.
That's Mr. Ramirez.
Yes.
Yeah, he had felony first appearance.
Did they address this case that he's here for?
No, he's here on a misdemeanor escape charge that occurred while he was in custody. He's got an entering auto and interference with government property from December the 20th when he was arrested. And so he's got an unindicted case, and I believe he's got first appearance and bond on each of those level 3 pretrial. I just looked at that.
He got 5,000 on interference with government property. So that's a
Okay,
good bond. Yeah.
so what about these charges that are before us today, position number 8? What are we doing with Mr.
no.
Ramirez?
I'm available.
Has anyone spoken with
It
Mr.
doesn't
Ramirez?
sound like anyone has spoken with him.
Is he gonna be available this afternoon, courtroom 2?
Oh, hold on.
we're trying to contact someone at Union City right now, Your Honor, to see if he, has talked to anyone, so we can make that available. However,
Okay,
that's right now, it's a no, but we're still trying to get in touch with them.
okay, so why don't you all continue to do that? I'm gonna go into the breakout room to handle these 2 cases that we still have. And in the meantime, is someone going to be handling those other add-on cases, or?
I'm reviewing them now and available for Ms. Melnick and Mr. Coleman, should they need any of the items related to those.
And I appreciate it. I was just trying to say, is this the same information that Ms. Falk sent? Okay.
Yes, there are 3 cases that need to be heard. The last names are Bostic, Morrison, and Rowe.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Miss Morrison and to Mr. Rowe, but the warrants that were sent, for whatever reason, I can't open the warrants.
Do you
And
have them, Ms. Melnick? I'll send them to you, Mr. Coleman.
and again, is there going to actually be a calendar with these people on them, or?
So they are following those cases now. I have 2 of the cases, so I'm still waiting on 1 case.
Okay,
So Ms. Falk already filed the acquisition for 2 of the cases.
okay.
And I just haven't had a chance to open anything. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Like I said, I tried to open the warrants, but they won't open for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I think it was just those attachments. I can send you the stuff from the jail screen.
Okay.
Because I couldn't open those attachments either.
Yeah, because I don't even know what they're charged with. I spoke to Miss Morrison and to Mr. Rowe. The third person, I don't know if he's in the courtroom available for me to speak to or not.
Yes, Ramirez and Bostic are in the courtroom to be interviewed. We're calling you right now.
Melnick.
We call him Melnick. We call Miss Melnick.
Okay.
For Bostic and for Ramirez.
Okay, well, I can speak to Mr. Bostic. I think Ramirez, he's already on the calendar and he needs to speak to Miss Melnick.
Yes, they're calling me right now.
We'll call you now, Mr. Coleman.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I guess, is that all of you all are busy. So the court's gonna take a recess, so you all can do what you need to do. Once you all have done that, we will continue the calendar, okay?
Your Honor, would you like me to send the documents that I have on these 3 add-on cases to you as well, or do you have them?
No, I'll just hear argument from
Okay.
the council. That's fine. Thank you, Ms. Allen. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay, so courtroom 2, until I hear from the attorneys, court is going to be in recess, and you all let me know when you're ready to proceed.
Shoes and things and bra or panties and scrunchie. And when you're standing there wearing stiletto heels
We ready with position 8, Mr. Ramirez.
Let's see, has someone spoken with Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor, I attempted to speak with him.
And are you ready to proceed?
I don't know which direction to send him in. Track A or track B? Could we ask for the ACT team to meet with him? He says he's been working with them in the past.
So, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the request, Ms. Melnick.
Okay, let's address bond, and then I'm gonna ask for the ACT team to come and meet with him. But we'll address bond today.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Ramirez. Sauvignon, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
I don't know. You had about video, yes.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you understand me?
What did you say? What did you say?
Yeah, do you understand? Do you understand me, sir?
No, I don't understand you.
Okay,
I don't understand nothing about this bullshit.
all right. Do we need to discuss this in a breakout room, Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so why don't we do that? And while we're there,
We talked to everyone.
is Zachary Alexis your case also, Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. And Mr.
Okay,
Drury.
let's address that case also, because Mrs. Alexis needs to get back.
Right.
She's got other things to do. So, if we can go into the breakout room, is this your case, Miss Allen? Okay, Miss Allen, Miss
Yeah, thank you.
Melnick, myself, can go into the breakout room, please. And Miss Alexis also, thank you.
And Miss Phyllis, after this one, Miss Phyllis too, for Mr. Sutton.
Okay, yeah. Let's deal with this one first and then
Yes,
we'll
Your Honor.
pull it in. Okay, let's see. Let me start with position number 1. If someone's in courtroom 2, Zachary Alexis. Okay, Mr. Alexis, I've already gone through the preliminaries with you. I've had the opportunity to speak in private with counsel for both sides. The bond is going to be a $2,000 surety bond. No further violent contact with your mother, Bernadine Alexis. You're going to be placed on the competency calendar on January 4th, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Alexis. Okay. Do we have Mr. Ramirez in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor, here he comes.
Okay.
Right here, right here. No.
Mr. Ramirez was charged in case 23 CR 008204G with escape. I've had the opportunity to speak in private with his counsel and the state. The bond will be a $2,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and he'll be placed on the SAP calendar on January 4th. Good luck to you, Mr. Ramirez. And is Mr. Sutton in the courtroom?
We don't have a Sutton, Your Honor. You mean Bostic?
That's position number 10.
We got Rowe, LaCory Rowe, and Shannon Morrison. Those are the 3 that we have.
Okay. You spoke, Ms. Melnick, you've spoken with him. Can we are you speaking to me, Ms. Melnick?
You unmute.
Yes, Your Honor. I can waive his appearance. I've spoken in depth with his wife, and I think we have a resolution that will be beneficial for him.
Okay, I'll need to get a written waiver filed just for the file, Ms. Melnick.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we've had the opportunity to have a discussion on Mr. Sutton, case 23 CR 008206C. And I know that Ms. Phyllis Sutton is with us also. It will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Crooms, who is the alleged victim, and the pharmacist at the CVS on Roswell Road. He can also needs to stay away from the CVS on Roswell Road if he needs to have his prescriptions filled. Ms. Phyllis Sutton, we've had a discussion that you'll have to get those filled for him. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
I got a question. How's
Yes,
he
sir.
supposed to interact with his pretrial officer if he can't talk?
He writes notes.
He gonna write note.
Either he can write notes, or or his wife, Miss Sutton, may be able to assist him. Okay. Anything further on Mr. Sutton? Ms. Sutton, would you like to address the court? Do you have any questions for me in this regard?
She must have.
This was a jail recommendation, so April, this is gonna be per judge.
Okay, so while Ms. Sutton's trying to unmute her device there, is there anybody else that we can take at the present time or not?
Yes, Your Honor. We have Ms. Morrison, Shannon Morrison.
Okay, and let's see, Mr. Jordan or Ms. Champion. Is there gonna be an add-on calendar that you all can send me?
I'm getting ready to send it out now, Judge.
Oh, okay, thank you, Mr. Jordan.
What was the person they just called?
Shannon Morrison.
That case number is 23CR 008-213B. One charge of cruelty to children, 3rd degree. And the second charge is battery, family violence, first offense, with the incident date of December the 23rd, 2023.
Okay,
The calendar now.
very good. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. And Mr. Coleman, you're representing Ms. Morrison,
Yes, Your Honor,
and you've had the opportunity to speak with her?
I have.
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, Ms. Morrison. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Morrison, you've been charged in case 23CR 008213D with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Mr. Howard, were you able to pull her history for me?
Second adult arrest. Last arrest was back in September. Yeah, for battery DV trespass. This was Judge Williams. This is a $3,000 pretrial bond. So that's all.
Thank you. Ms. Allen, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. The facts of this case are that on the 23rd at 3 a.m., police were called to 2400 Campbellton Road, Southwest here in Atlanta. The same victim from September in an accused case in state court that you just heard about reported that he had been assaulted. He had marks on arm and face. Let me look at one other thing. And there were 5 children present. That's the basis of the cruelty in the 3rd degree. Mr. King, Michael King. So assaulted Mr. Michael King, causing visible injuries to head and face while 5 children were present. And on 12/23/23, Ms. Morrison was out on bond for an incident from September the 19th, 23, a simple battery on Mr. Michael King and criminal trespass. And that is a case number 23CR 005639B.
You have the bond conditions there, Ms. Allen?
I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll help you out. No further violent contact with Michael King. 1 day anger awareness.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. And the recommendation, Ms. Allen?
The recommendation would be for no further contact at this point. She's in violation of the bond that she's on. And we've just got another 2 counts. So is pretrial going to come off of her bond?
Yeah.
So we would ask for a surety bond, Your Honor. And leave that to your discretion.
Yes, Mr. Coleman?
Yeah, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Miss Morrison. Speaking to her, she's 25 years of age. She is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, Fulton County. She is currently not working, therefore she has no money to post for bond. She is a high school graduate and the mother of 3 children, ages 5 months, ages 4, and ages 6. It appears this is only her 2nd arrest. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond.
Okay. Given that she received a a pretrial bond the last time she was here, which wasn't that long ago. I don't feel comfortable giving her a signature bond at this point in time. For the cruelty to be $1,000 good bond. For the battery, it'll be a $2,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Michael King. Stay away from the Campbellton Road address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Ms. Morrison.
Next, we have Mr. LaCory Rowe.
Who's representing Mr. Rowe? Is that you, Mr. Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've had the opportunity to speak with them? Okay. Mr. Rowe, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Rowe, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008214C with battery and theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Last arrest was on the 23rd of this month. Criminal conspiracy to commit a felony. Hold on real quick. I gotta pull this one up. We got a total of 15. Last arrest was July 2023, not this month, I'm sorry. That case was dismissed in Superior Court. Also had a July failure to appear. March probation. January simple battery family violence, not sure of the disposition. 2022 sale of marijuana, possession of drug-related objects. The possession was dismissed. Got a 2020 robbery, simple assault, obstruction, false imprisonment. Not sure of that disposition. 2020 simple battery family violence. 2018 simple marijuana. 2018 failure to appear. Battery in a public transit vehicle or station. Disorderly conduct conviction from 2017 out of the cab. 2017 add stalking, it was declined to prosecute. Simple battery DV, theft by taking conviction 2017 on martyr. And 2014 disorderly conduct battery, those were dismissed. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. The incident in this case happened on the 12th of December. Victim reported she had known Mr. Rowe for just a few weeks, and he'd requested that she meet him, I think, at the mall. This is 850 Oak Street. He became upset when she was talking to someone else. They walked outside. While they were outside, he began to argue with her and threatened to punch her in the face, and then he did punch her in the face. The victim's name is Alicia Rucker. After he punched her in the face, she was bleeding from her nose. She provided the Instagram and other identifying information from Mr. Rowe. Police were able to identify him and they took out warrants. There was also a witness on scene who reported hearing, not related to these folks at all, but hearing an argument, hearing the defendant specifically state he was going to punch this victim in the face, and then he watched her punch this lady in the face. He then grabbed her cell phone from her and fled the location on foot. The victim reported that since the incident, when police followed up with her, she had been receiving threats from the victim, from the defendant via text. So this incident happened a few weeks ago and he was just arrested. He does have a substantial history of domestic violence cases, but this young woman was not in a relationship with him to that degree at this point, and hopefully will not be at this point. It looks like, I'm not sure if he has a bond. Do you have that information? Anyone else? We'd be asking for no contact whatsoever, since there'd be no reason to have any contact with this young woman at this point, including communication electronically. and to complete anger management.
Okay,
That's it at this point. Thank you.
Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Rowe. Speaking to him, he is 26 years of age. He is a lifetime resident of Atlanta, Fulton County. He is currently unemployed, therefore he has no money to post for bond. He is a high school graduate. He does not have any children. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
Okay, for the battery, it's gonna be a $2,000 good bond. For the theft by taking, $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Alicia Rucker, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Rowe. Who do we have next?
Next, we have Bostic Javon. Your Honor, you said for roll is, the battery is 2,000 and the theft by taking is 1,000?
Yeah, surety bonds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, good afternoon. Mr. Bostic, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Bostic, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008212D with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, hold on. I got let's see. Last arrest of 2022 out of Twiggs County for suspended registration. All right, hold on. Let's see. All right. You got 3 arrests. No. 5 arrests out of state. What is this? South Carolina. Got a 2013 probation, assault, battery, high and aggravated nature conviction. 2007 assault, battery, high and aggravated nature conviction. And a 05 assault and battery with intent to kill. That's it.
Salen.
Your Honor, this is a fight between roommates from the 23rd of December at 3:30 in the morning. Police were called to 1135 Jefferson Street, Northwest here in Atlanta, where Scott Ziegler, Zeigler, reported that he was assaulted by the defendant who bit him on his left index finger. He said he was struck by the defendant during an altercation because they argued when the defendant allegedly used his credit card and the victim received a notice on his phone that his credit card had been used. He approached the defendant about the situation. The defendant became aggressive and bit this gentleman on the finger, on his left index finger. He was transported to Grady and the defendant was taken into custody. The looks like he's got a $5,000 surety bond. We would just ask that it remain the same, Your Honor. No contact with the roommate, Mr. Scott Ziegler. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. That would be our recommendation.
Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Bostic. He is 38 years of age. He has resided here in Atlanta, Fulton County for the last 25 years. He's currently employed at Allied University as a security guard. He did graduate from high school and attended some college. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond. I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Bostic.
Mr. Howard, what was pretrial's recommendation?
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I gotta look that one up again. I think it was 2. Give me a moment. 2.
Okay, thank you. It'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Scott Ziegler. Stay away from the Jefferson Street address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
This way, this way.
Okay, does that take care of everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Officer Milton.
Good to see you guys. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before we go, hold on, we'll go over the calendar, but before we do, I see Miss Phyllis is, well, she was.
I'm
I was
right
gonna
here.
give- Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
right.
yeah. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
right.
I wanted to give you the opportunity to address the court if you like to regarding your husband. Is there, we've had the opportunity to speak on his case in a private session. And did you have any questions for the court?
No, not at this time. I
Okay.
appreciate all the considerations.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Ms. Sutton. We appreciate you being here this afternoon. You have a good holiday.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
How do I proceed on coming to get Mr. Sutton?
Well, he was given a signature bond, so he will, as soon as he gets processed out, you can pick him up, but you'll have to be in touch with the jail to do that. And I'm not sure if it'll be later today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay? Anything
All right,
else?
thanks.
All right. Happy holidays, ma'am.
You too.
Thank you. Ms. Champion, whenever you're ready.
Position number 1 is a $2,000 good bond reset SAP competency on 1-4. Position number 2 is a total of a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 3 is a $2,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number 4 is a $3,000 pretrial bond level 3 reset further notice. Position number 5 is a total of a $5,000 pretrial bond level 3 reset further notice. Position number 6 is a $5,000 pretrial bond level 3 reset further notice. Position number 7 is a total of a $1,500 sign-on bond through the jail. It's going to be reset SAP 1-4. The defendant has pending felony charges. Position number 8 is a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1-4. Position number 9 is a total of a $4,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 10 is a $5,000 pretrial bond per judge level 1 reset further notice. Position number 11 is a total of a $5,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. Position number 12 is a $2,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. And the add-on 1 is a $5,000 pretrial bond level 2 reset further notice. Position number 2 is a total of a $3,000 good bond reset SAP 1-4. Position
Wait a
number
minute. Wait. Can we go back to that? Catherine Reeves, that was a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. Is that correct?
No, I think she went with the other one. She went with the last
Oh.
on calendar.
No, I'm
Hold
doing the
on.
last add-on with all 3 other defendants on it.
Okay.
Can you start
Okay.
over though with Bostic?
Position number 1 is Bostic. It's a
Okay.
$5,000 pretrial bond level 2.
Okay.
Position number 2 is Morrison. It's a total of a $3,000 good bond. Reset SAP 1-4. Position number 3, which is Reeves, total of a $3,000 pretrial bond level 1 reset further notice. Position number 4 is Rowe, total of a $3,000 good bond reset SAP 1-4. And position number 5 is Wings, total of a $5,000 pretrial bond level 3 reset further notice.
Did Bostic have anger awareness? I got up
Yes.
and went and got the
Yes.
calendar. I don't know. Okay.
Any questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good rest of your Saturday and happy holidays to everybody.
You
Be
too.
safe.
Thank you.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Thank you. Ms. Champion, I will get those back to you as soon as I get them, okay?
Okay, I'll send them right over.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.